Why would a property owner let you do rent to rent with them? Well, we're going to cover that on today's episode. Hello, my name's Mark Fitzgerald, and it's great to have you join me here on the Property Unleashed YouTube channel. So why would an owner, a property owner, a landlord, or even an agent want to do a rent to rent deal with you? Well, we're going to cover the homeowners today, the landlords themselves, and we're going to go through a few topics and a few different questions that I get asked as well. I will cover them all here, and I will help you get a bit of a better understanding. Now, when you're doing rent to rent, there's two different strategies that you can predominantly do. One is obviously SA, which is serviced accommodation, which is holiday lets or corporate lets. The other one is HMOs, where you find tenants, you put the tenants in the rooms. Now that could be a group of tenants, or it can be single tenants, and you rent the properties out on a single room by room basis. Both of those strategies work really well in certain areas, or if that's your main focus. What I do recommend and suggest is that you make whichever one you want to do your main focus. I went down the HMO route because I wanted quick cash flow to replace my corporate wage, to get me to get the money coming in so I could keep the lights and everything turned on. Serviced accommodation, whilst the profits can in most cases be better, it can take a bit more time to find traction to get things going, particularly when you look at what time of the year you're starting and you're looking at the area where you are as well. But both of them are great little strategies, and are both strategies that I do now. But I do recommend you focus on one to start with, nail it, and then you can go off there and you can do what you want. So why will landlords want to work with you and do rent to rent deals with you? Well, number one, we could look at and say it can be very, very hard work being a landlord. Now, depending on the number of properties that you have, but even just having one property can be a lot of work and can get you running around in circles if you don't have the proper systems in place and you don't know what you're doing. Now, some people become landlords accidentally, and other people become landlords because obviously they're investing. But there are still people out there to this day that want to be investors, but end up being landlords, just plain and simply because they don't want to pay anybody to look after their property. They want to get greedy and they want maximum profits. And when I say greedy, I say that with a tint and a smile, because it's all about what's right for you at the end of the day. But if you're looking at being an investor and you're going to be managing the properties yourself, then you are a landlord. It's as simple as that. You are a landlord anyway, but you are at landlord level when it comes to the investment strategy and things. Now, a lot of people won't want to be landlords, so they'll give it to a letting agent, which is a whole nother kettle of fish. But we're just going to cover here that people have bought a property, they've converted it into an HMO or even a serviced accommodation, and then all of a sudden they're going to find that if they haven't got a bit of education and they don't know what they're doing, which is the main thing, it can all of a sudden become a real headache, and it can become really hard work. So you need to have your systems in place. If you're setting yourself up to do rent to rent, you need to make sure that you're going to put the right systems in place as you go. Yeah, you can be a bit more hands-on in the beginning, and so can landlords, but it can become very, very difficult. And getting my first few deals, I got to about deal 5. I had a lot of rooms, and I sort of looked up and thought, this is becoming a bit of a beast. This is becoming a bit of a headache. So I then decided to start putting systems in place. I went out there, I tried loads of different systems, different tenant management systems and softwares and all these great things that are out there. And I now show my students the exact ones that you need, and they don't have to go through the whole process themselves, because it can be a bit long-winded. But if you're starting yourself up, you are going to be wanting to start even now. While you're looking for deals, start looking at systems. You don't necessarily need to pay for them yet. In fact, I'd say don't buy anything, don't pay for anything, but look for free demos, look at things and systems that you can trial, and look for reviews on what people have used them for and stuff. A lot of landlords won't do this, so it can be very hard when they get their properties and then they start managing them themselves. And they can soon become demoralized, demotivated in doing it. And that is the right time when our marketing, or we get in front of an agent who's got a motivated landlord, so to speak, or we just manage to bump into, because we're out there doing viewings and we're talking to people, the right person that thinks, do you know what? I want that service. I want the hassle and the pain and all of the grief that comes with managing properties taken away from me. And as I say, if you put the systems in the right place and you manage your tenants or your holiday makers or anything like that professionally, then you will take a lot of that away yourself, because you might be thinking right now, well, I don't want that hassle. Mark, what is he saying all of this? I don't want to take their hassle and give it to myself. It's all about how you approach things. It's all about how you talk to people. B, it's all about the systems. And C, it's about making sure that you deliver on what you say you can deliver. The next reason a landlord might want to use your services, use your rent-to-rent business, is because they've got a problem. So maybe they've got maintenance problems, but maybe they are using a letting agent and they're finding at the end of the month they're spending a fortune on maintenance levels and stuff. Maybe they have a problem tenant. Maybe they just need a tenant. They need to get rid of that tenant because they haven't done the right due diligence and they haven't, vetted the tenants properly before they moved in. Again, their systems have let them down. So they've got a problem there, and potentially we can go in there, we can help them out with this, and we can move, the tenant on, so to speak, and bring in nice tenants and things. And if it's holiday makers, and again, they may be struggling to market it, they may be struggling to keep up with it all, they may have an underlying problem. It's really about us as being property problem solvers to find out what that problem is, to be able to talk to them at their level, and to make sure that we can solve their problem. Now, sometimes, and I've met many landlords that I couldn't solve their problems. What they were looking for wasn't what I or my company would offer them. In which case, then, I will try and point them in the right direction, and I will move on. And sometimes it all goes around in a circle, and it actually come back, and they do become your client in the long run. So what goes around comes around in life, and being able to help others is what it's all about. And when I say help others as well, please visit the website, the Property Unleashed website, www.thepropertyunleashed.com, for any free tools and resources that are there. I have a 10-step rent-to-rent guide, which is being revamped at the moment to offer even more value, which is completely free. I have a deal stacking analyzer, which also I give away for free. We have the Property Unleashed podcast, if you want to listen to it as well. And we're always putting new things in place. We do also have a free 10-step serviced accommodation business builder coming your way as well. So if you subscribe to any of those, you will then be able to receive any of the other free resources that come out if you so choose to. So have a little look at that. As again, what goes around comes around. So it's about helping people. Another problem and another reason that I hear a lot of my landlords have wanted to work with me was because they didn't know what cash flow they were getting. Now, using my services, they know each month what rent they're going to get. Why? Because it's guaranteed. You know what it's all about. We guarantee the rent to the landlord, whether there's people in it or not. Yes, that puts a bit of a liability on us. But again, when you've got your systems in place, you know how to market your property successfully, you know how to change rooms around quickly, you know how to make sure that the upkeep of the property is kept to its best, you won't have too many problems with this. Markets are saturated everywhere. Yes, they are. But they're saturated with a lot of rubbish, okay? There's a lot of people that don't look after the properties the way a decent, proper rent-to-rent business will and should, okay? If you're one of those people that thinks they can just put tenants in it and forget about it, then you're not getting into it for the right reasons and you're a bit disillusioned. Property, you've got to stay on top of. Property is a living and breathing asset. Yes, it is an asset. So it's an asset for the landlord. It's also an asset for us rent-to-renters because it brings in cash flow, or it should be. So we need to make sure that we offer the landlord certainty with their cash flow. If we say we're going to offer this guaranteed rent, we need to make sure that we've done our due diligence and we know the numbers will give us the profit we want, we'll pay them what they want, and anything else covers all costs that are incurred with the property itself. And again, the deal analyzing spreadsheet, if you don't have one of those, go and download it for yourself now. It's free. You'll see links to it all in the show notes for this episode. And also, if you look me up on social media, Instagram, Facebook, come and friend me, come and like me or follow me on Instagram or whatever like that. And if you press the link in my bio, you'll be able to download it all there as well. So you can make sure that your numbers are the best numbers possible and you're doing the right deals to make sure that you're building a legacy and a future for yourself and your company and maybe even your family, rather than getting yourself a liability. So if the landlords know exactly what they're getting each month, then they are happy. And a lot of landlords I know, they just don't. They think they've got all their tenants in, or they've got a full occupancy, and then all of a sudden come the end of the month, they've had all of these maintenance issues, or tenants have just disappeared. We've seen that as well, where certain companies were moving tenants around to keep the landlords happy and things like that. So there's all sorts of different things that might be going on in your area that you don't even know about yet until you get out there and you get stuck in. And that is a lot of the reasons why landlords will want to work with you and will want your services, for that guaranteed assurance that they know each month they can pay their mortgage, they can make a bit of a profit on their properties. It all of a sudden becomes an asset and not a liability to them. And lastly, realistically, it's about making sure that we remove the hassle. It's pain-free investing for the landlord. What's in it for them? They put this big chunk of change into buying this property. And then they're going to obviously relinquish it to us. We are in turn going to treat that property as if it's our own. We are going to look after it, but we still need to make a fair profit in the work that we're doing. Not a lot of landlords understand this, so it's about finding the right landlords, the right savvy investors that do understand this and appreciate the fact that if we make good money, we look after their asset, which in turn over years should go up in value for them. So their initial investment is making money. They're not having to pay out on all of these maintenance issues or problems like that, because we take care of the minor maintenance issues. Yes, there may be a boiler that needs changing or stuff like that, but that's all part and parcel anyway. They should be budgeting themselves for things like that. But we take all the hassle away. We in turn have this hassle in our business. But again, you set yourself up with the right systems. You put people in place that like and enjoy dealing with these people, i.e., if you've got problems with tenants, you have people in your business. Eventually, obviously, when you're growing, you might be doing it all yourself, but you just talk to people, communicate with people, and they're not too much of a problem. If they're not heard and they think they're being ignored, you may get a problem, because all of a sudden things can spiral out of control. But if you are proactive and on top of it, and having the right systems in place just means you are able to do that, the hassles aren't really that bad. And once you get the systems in place and you've done this a bit of time, and you can sort of spot things and see things, and you've got people going into your properties, i.e. cleaners, maintenance people, that will report any issues that they're seeing, anything that maybe needs to be nipped in the butt straight away, all of a sudden things become quite good. I'm not going to say easy, because I don't really think there's anything easy about property. Trust me on that one. It's not a sit and forget. These aren't sit and forget strategies and methods and things. You are going to be actively in there, but how active is up to you. I spend a couple of hours a week on my rent-to-rent portfolio because I have people in place. Yes, it costs me money to have people in place and to pay for these systems, but they're worth it. They're worth every penny. And if you're doing the right deals and you're making the right money, which I see a lot of my students are starting to do now, and they are starting to see it themselves, whereas they are maybe less hands-on than they were at the very beginning. They're all of a sudden being able to take that step back, have that bit more time freedom. And that's at the end of the day what it's all about. But it's also about having your business that you absolutely love and that you're proud of. And if you can do that and you can put that forward to the landlords, to the agents, to anybody, then you will sell your services a lot better than you will if you're in shaky ground and you're not 100% sure about what you're doing. So as I always say, it's about knowing your worth. Knowing your worth to the landlords. So make sure that you know how much your services are worth, and that the product and the responsibilities and the fact that you are going to deliver on what you say you're going to deliver will work really, really well for your business and for your landlords. And instead of saying to yourself, why would a landlord do this? Why not say to yourself, why wouldn't a landlord do this? Why wouldn't a landlord do these rent-to-rent deals with me? Because of everything that we can offer, which I've talked about in this video. If you go up to a landlord and you explain these things in detail and you know what you're doing, you set yourself up for success, as I always like to say, there's no real reason why when you get in front of these landlords, you don't get the deals, okay? I have the Rent-to-Rent Business Builder program, which will help you do just that. If you're interested in it, then please reach out to us and we can give you some more information, where we take you step by step through everything that you need to build a rent-to-rent business. And I am on hand i.e. on hand at the end of a message, at the end of an email, or at the end of a group coaching call to be able to help you. I do offer bespoke and one-to-one coaching as well. So if anybody wants me to help them on a one-to-one level, and we try and do that over 12 months so that not only can we help you get the deals, but we can also help you build and scale your business in quick time, then reach out to me on that as well. I hope this video's helped you, and I look forward to you joining me again on the next video. So you take care, focus on your vision, keep pushing forward, and bye for now.